All right. Good evening, everybody. Just get all the things, bolster, blanket, and a block tonight. So for those of you joining from home, if you can grab bolster, blanket, and block, or something you can use that is as similar as you can. And we're going to start right away with those items. So it's kind of a dark and cozy, lovely kind of night. And I don't really practice salmon swimming upstream very often. I like to kind of embrace our surroundings. So we're going to ease into our practice. We will bring it up a little bit, and I might actually bring the lights up here in just a bit, but not just yet. So grab your bolster, your blanket, and your block, and you're going to create a little cozy recliner for yourself. So good to be back. Took a long road trip to Missouri, and boy, my body is still in road trip status, I think. So bear with me as we all breathe and move together tonight. So you're just gonna set yourself up in this comfy space and then tend to how you want to position your legs. So I want you to choose what feels right for you, whether that's placing the soles of your feet onto the floor or your legs extended out long, or if your hips are warm and ready for it, you can certainly move into that butterfly pose, that bounding goal, hip opening, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Just make sure that wherever you have very intentionally placed your body, that you're not feeling any kind of major resistance and tension, so that you can very easily breathe. And just begin to soak in your surroundings, soak in this space. This which you have carved out for yourself to be here on your mat, which some days is no easy task whatsoever. So as you have carved this space and time out for yourself, I ask that you begin to carve out a little more space with your breath. Bring that breath in deeply. Take a moment to pause at that full expansion and then exhale it out any which way that feels right for you. And just take notice of the state of your energetics. Are you feeling a little bit antsy? Are you feeling completely relaxed? Are you feeling somewhere along the spectrum between those two states? Take it for what it is. And then very gently just turn your head over toward the right, and you're going to kind of pull the right shoulder down from the ear, kind of the equivalent of working your right fingertips forward toward the foot. Take a breath or two. And then draw that right arm back to a comfortable position. Bring your head back to center and then turn your head over to the left. Again, you're going to kind of crawl the left fingertips a little further down toward the foot so that you lengthen that left arm and pull the shoulder away from the ear. Breathe. And then come back to center. Wherever your legs are at, I just ask that you choose a different position. So those options that I kind of outline, maybe one of those other ones resonates with you, maybe something totally different, like one knee bent and one leg long. Just choose a different position. And if you are feeling extra antsy or fidgety, don't be afraid to make this movement a little more dynamic in nature, just kind of stretching or coming into butterfly and then closing the knees again. Or maybe you'd like to find constructive resting pose, feet moving out wide toward the edges of your mat, knees knocking together. We're using this to kind of assess the state of our physical body Really connect deeply with our breath, and also begin to cultivate a very strong patience with yourself tonight, with the process, with the pace. And then just meet back when you're ready, soles of both feet resting onto your mat, knees upright toward the ceiling. Bring the feet in fairly close together, but not quite touching one another. And we're going to do just a couple of heel drags or heel slides. So you're going to take that right heel and just kind of move it. It might be a little bumpy. You're going to move that heel forward so that the right leg straightens. And then you're just going to kind of pull that heel back to flatten the foot onto the mat. And then do the same on the left side. It's not going to slide smoothly and evenly, but you're just kind of getting a sense of pulling the heel back and forth and what kind of core strength it requires to coordinate that effort. And once you've had a chance to do 2 or 3 on each side, that seemingly awkward movement, place both feet down onto the mat once again and raise your fingertips, your hands, your arms all the way up high. Just reach up toward the ceiling through your fingertips. Rotate your wrists around a few times in each direction. Nourish your feet, so just kind of roll through a little bit of movement. Balls of the feet, heels of the feet, ankles, toes, clenching, releasing. Take one more deep breath and any final stretches that you might need here on your back. And then take your time to come all the way up to your seat. And you don't have to move a thing just yet. So as you come into that comfortable cross-legged seat, hi, come on in, William, make yourself at home. As you come into that cross-legged seat just in front of the bolster, sit tall, reach up through the crown of your head, rest your hands onto your knees. Find that axial extension, that length through the spine, and then the length through your breath once again as well. And bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, palms of the hands pressing to one another, base of the thumbs near the top of your breastbone. Bring the breath in deeply so that the chest rises, the rib cage expands, and exhale it all the way out. Take another deep inhale. Breathe it out. And then hands go high with this next breath in. Rotate to the right as you exhale. You're going to land your right hand back to that bolster behind you. Left hand is going to settle in onto your knee or your thigh. Gentle, gentle twist. As you take a couple of breaths here, you may find that you can wrap your right hand over to the farthest edge of that bolster to deepen the twist. Nothing says that you need to do that by any means, but it is there and available as long as your breath is still available for you. One more here. Slide your way back to center. Bring your hands into heart. Give your spine a little time to adjust. Give your breath a chance to catch up, to slow down. And just notice, acknowledge that if you didn't come off of a really long road trip, this might not feel so dramatic, but there might be times in your life that it does. Take an inhale, reach both hands high, and then exhale, rotate. And in either state you find yourself, we approach it the same. We never dive right in like we know what's going to happen. Instead, we maintain a strong sense of curiosity about the shape. Again, the depth of that twist can deepen by placing your left hand to the farthest edge of the bolster, palming into it, breathing. Reaching up through the crown of your head, take one more breath. And then gently unwind. Take a little sweet time to soak that in, to bring the hands together. One more time, one more deep breath. All right, let's clear the space of our mat and move right into tabletop from there. So take your time, leave the blanket if you like to have a little extra cushion beneath your kneecaps. Some of you may experience changes in pressure causing some discomfort at the joints. So always nice to have a little extra compassion for the knee joints. As soon as you do land in that tabletop position, just start the process of waving through the length of your spine to a cat-like stretch. And within that cat straight shape, you're pressing the hips back and curling your way forward and then softening into cow. Back and forth. Color outside the lines a little bit with some barrel rolls if you'd like. Maybe tend to a gentle stretch for your feet, tucking the toes under. And then from that, you're going to work your way into extended puppy pose. So the hands are going to go a little farther out in front of you. Hips are going to stay pretty high. Soften the forehead down toward the earth. Keep that integrity through your core, that activity all the way out through the length of your arms. Now rise a little bit from this extended puppy pose. I want you to come up to a place that you feel pretty stable, pretty secure, and then work your hands back one hand length toward you. And then you're going to leave your left palm in place, draw the right hand back, make sure you feel really stable, and you're going to place the right hand at your tail. Now, as long as that feels all right, you're going to ease in a little deeper. This is going to be back a little further toward child's pose. Now, again, only if that feels safe and right for your shoulder. Lift, release, reach forward with the right hand, set yourself up again in that strong, stable position, and then bring the left hand back to your tail. You can stay right there, or you can start to ease the hips back, full stretch and length through the arms, almost like a puppy child's hybrid of sorts. And then release. Left hand comes back ahead of you, and then work your way into downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, walk your legs out. Give your heels some alternate presses down toward the earth. Get a good deep calf stretch. I am going to bring the lights up just a little bit now. Now, once you've had a chance to kind of warm the body up in downward facing dog, I do want you to come back down to table and into child's pose. You choose whether you want to have your knees out wide or the knees in close, but get a sense of how the hips are feeling. What is that range of motion through the hips tonight? How do the fronts of your ankles feel? How's the mobility there? And if your head is resting right onto your mat, just in case you need it, you may even rock your head a little right, a little left to give the frontal sinuses a gentle massage. Again, any big changes in pressure can sometimes create some discomfort there. Take one more breath, let it go, and then work your way back up to your tabletop. Come into that table, take a glance back towards your knees, set them right under the hips. You're gonna press the top of your left foot down and then just extend the right leg straight on back behind you. Take a circle of your right ankle around in space. Press equally into both palms, take a breath in, and then draw the knee in toward your nose, cat stretch your spine, breathe out. Inhale, reach back, and then just moving with breath. Exhale, draw it in. One more time. Now spinal balance from there. The right leg extends back. Your left arm is going to go out ahead of you. Take one more breath. As you exhale, your left hand's going to come down. Your right leg's going to stay extended, but bring the toes straight down to the mat behind you. Barred gate pose. The left foot moves over to the side of your mat so that you can open yourself up high through the right hand. Right arm can come alongside the ear. Reach, breathe. Explore a little range of motion through your big circle of your right arm if you'd like to. Slicing along the horizon, reaching up and then back. Now, if you'd like to take this to a hover point, right hand goes high, right leg goes up to hip height, and then bend your knee to catch your foot if you want to add a quad stretch. Bring your breath in. And then release your way back to center. Take a little cat stretch and then pull the hips back ever so slightly to offload your wrists. Then come back to center. Left leg's gonna go long behind you. Take a little circle of your ankle. Reconnect to the rhythm of your breathing. Take an inhale, and then exhale takes the knee forward toward the nose. Inhale, reach long. Crown of the head, sole of the foot, exhale. One more time. And then send your left leg long. Reach the right arm out ahead of you, spinal balance pose. Navel to spine, keep the breath moving. Right hand comes back down to your mat. The toes of your left foot just touch down to the floor behind you. Right foot moves over so that you can just turn your way open to barred gate pose. Left arm is going to slide alongside the ear. That might be a great place to stay, or slide down the horizon, reach up. Just move the arm through space. Which direction feels right for you? Try both. And then if you want to take it to that hover point, the left leg will go high. Bend your knee. If you want to add your quad stretch, you'll reach back. You can catch under or over the foot, truly your preference. And then just inhabit that shape. Kick into your hand, press your hand into your foot. Breathe. Enliven every bit of yourself. In every shape that we take, one more breath. And release. Come back to center. Relieve your wrists in any way that you need to prior to downward facing dog. Now settle into the calf stretch just a little bit more here by pressing the heels down and back. And as you move deeply into that calf stretch, I want you to deepen your breath a lot as well. And pull the heels up away from your mat. Shift your gaze toward the top of your mat. Work your feet forward to join your hands in a forward fold. This first round, let's take the fingertips up high on the shins, heart a little higher than hips. Breathe in. Bend your knees, cascade the upper body forward into a fold and stay there for a couple breaths. Then bend your knees a lot more and roll up, up, up to a stand. Move your shoulders back, lift your arms up high, breathe in, draw the arms out wide and down as you breathe out. Let's move through that range of motion a few more times. Take an inhale up and an exhale out. Reach up, breathe in and out. Now take another inhale, both hands high. Cactus your arms as you exhale. Reach high through the hands, breathe in, and then dive forward into Uttanasana. Take a half lift, fingers at the shins again or at the floor, and then exhale deeper into your stretch. Slide the palms of your hands to the backs of your calves. Give a little hug, a little squeeze of the inner elbows to your outer knees or thighs. Let your head hang. Allow your body to be evenly distributed into both feet. And then release from that deep stretch. Take the palms of the hands to the top of your mat. Step your feet back into plank pose. Now take a little time to actually kind of step back into your plank pose. So this might feel a little bit like mountain climbers, but you're just going to kind of pull the knees up and then press the feet back, just like you're taking up space. You're really pressing yourself out, like pantomiming the box of your plank pose. And then do the same with the adjustment through your upper body without picking up the hands, but just kind of shifting your body weight from hand to hand, and feel what happens at your very center when you do all of that. Wake your legs up a little bit more. And then either with your knees lifted or lowered, you're going to come forward slightly, lower down through chaturanga. Come up through cobra pose. Rise up, breathe in. Bow forward. Bring your forehead almost all the way down to the ground. And then rise again. Inhale. And exhale. Adjust your hands outward if you'd like. Take one more. Then take your time to move back to downward dog. Press the floor away with your hands. And then just do a simple bend of your right knee so that your right heel kicks up a little higher. And then slowly squeeze the right heel toward the back of your bum. And then you're going to press your right leg up, 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 foot up high above you. Three-legged downward dog, neutral hips. Breathe into that. Now, we are certainly not going to do this, so don't worry. Don't get too much worry going. But I want you to envision, I want you to imagine that your upper body is so strong here that if I asked you to try to take your left hand away from the floor into your tail, just like we did in that puppy pose, that you might at least be able to entertain the thought. Take another breath as you entertain that, and then step your right foot forward between your hands. Come into a low lunge, get your feet set, and then when you're ready, rise all the way up to your high lunge position. Take an inhale, take an exhale. Take another breath in, keep your shoulders stacked high over your hips, release the hands down and back behind you, interlace your fingers, roll the knuckles downward as you lift your heart high. Breathe and broaden your collarbones. Now release your hands, reach high once again, inhale, and then come down as you exhale. And we're going to move from there into a twist, so you may want to take the right foot out a little broader, and then your right hand goes high. Block under the left hand can make a world of difference, so don't be afraid to use it. Okay, bring the right hand all the way back down. Bring your back knee down. Come high through the hands. Take an inhale. Now move into your prayer twist from here. Left hand goes right over the thigh. Back knee stays down for the moment. Work to deepen that twist. Take your gaze back just a little bit. Cast it right over the point of your right elbow. Keep on breathing. Now, if you'd like to lift that back knee away, you certainly are welcome to. Hello, right thigh. Thank you for all the work you're doing. Release and unwind. Bring your hands down. Step back to plank. Step into it. Push that leg back. Move through a connecting vinyasa here if you'd like, or pause and shift to downward dog. Squeeze the breath out from your body with your next exhale. Push the floor away from you through your hands. Yep, you got it. You're going to put a little bend into your left knee. That heel's going to kick up, and then you're going to pull the heel to the bum, foot to the sky, push up through that imaginary obstacle. Good. And then again, just imagine that your upper body's so strong that you could perhaps entertain the thought of taking your right hand and putting it to your tail. Yeah, good. Some of you are doing more than entertaining. I love it. All right, and then take one more breath in. With your exhale, you're gonna step that left foot forward. Make sure you're on that nice broad base of support, and then raise both hands high overhead. Good. You're really solid in your stance. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, release your hands down. Now think about which way you interlaced them last time, and then try to do the opposite. Draw the knuckles down, lift your heart, lift your chin, breathe. Release your hands, lift both hands high. Exhale and bring the hands down low. Back knee is going to come. No, it's not. Right hand's going to stay at the ground. Left foot's going to move over a little. Then left hand goes high. Good. Nice. Keep on breathing. Good. And then bring your left hand down. Bring the back knee down. Take your time to lift all the way up. And then prayer twist. You're going to draw the right elbow over, left elbow's reaching pretty high up and back. And you're just going to gaze toward the tip of that left elbow if you can. Tuck your toes. Lift your back knee away if you would like to. Nicely done. Beautiful. Nice, Christy. Good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Excellent. And then release. Step back into plank. Moving all the way down onto the mat this time. Come into one cobra pose. Hands exactly where you want to have them. Breathe in, rise up. Bow forward, breathe out. Take your hands, give them a stack under your forehead as a little pillow. Feel the slowing of your breath here. And just come onto your forearms into Sphinx pose. Good. Take a little time just to place the elbows under your shoulders, to let your upper body kind of sag down for a moment and then re-energize. Press down, lift up, broaden the collarbones, lift the chin ever so slightly. So moving to half frog from here, we're going to start with our left forearm being our foundation. So you're going to bring the left hand over to the right wrist so that you have that forearm at a diagonal. Reach forward through the right hand and then open yourself up and back. Let that right hip lift away from the ground. Get a good solid grip on your foot. Then return both hip bones square. Adjust the grip of your hand to what you need it to be tonight. And then take a little glance over to the left. And then a little more breath. Now to release, allow your upper body to come low, let your foot go, give yourself a little space and time with that pillow of your hands beneath your forehead once again. Feel the beating of your heart begin to slow back down. Guide that pace with your breath. And then move your way back onto your forearms. We're gonna come into our other side. The right forearm is our foundation. Left hand comes out in front. You're gonna reach up, reach back. Let your hip move away to get your good solid grip on your foot. Then you're returning. Both hip bones square down to the floor. Adjust your grip to what you might need it to be at. And then you're glancing a little to the right, keep pressing down through the right forearm. Keep breathing. Unclench your jaw if you perhaps are a jaw clencher like me. And then to release, you're going to come low, let go of that foot. This time, if you'd like to turn your head to one direction or the other and let your arms rest back by your side, please do. You can also take that first pillow stack of your hands. And if you are feeling some compression through the lowest part of your back, a little wag of your tail can sometimes help with that. Just letting the hips kind of move right, left, right, left. If you've got your head turned in one direction, go ahead and turn it in the opposite direction for a couple of breaths. And then bring your head back to neutral. Place your hands ready, solid, stable, right at either side of your chest. Tuck your toes, lift your head, and rise up to downward dog. And make your way, feet toward hands, to land at the top of your mat. Simply come up nice and slow. Just rise all the way up to a stand. And once you get there, raise the arms up overhead, draw your hands to touch, and draw them down to heart. Close your eyes. Stand tall, breathe deep. Bring your feet out just a bit broader than your hip distance. Let your hands rest down at either side. And then open your eyes. Take a deep breath in, raise both hands up high overhead. You're gonna grasp hold of your left wrist, give yourself a little lean over in that direction, and then take a bend to your left knee. So kind of letting the side lengthen a bit more down that left. Come all the way back through center, switch your grip, lean a little over in that direction, and then take a bend to the right knee. Come all the way back through center, release your hands down low, and then back behind you, interlace the hands and dive forward into your shoulder stretch. A very mindful nod and shake of your head. And then if you'd like to bend one knee at a time here. Take your hands to your tail and then hands all the way down to the floor in front of you. Move from there into Malasana. Work the feet out a little broader, take your toes, turn them out just a little bit, and then drop your hips down. Take your elbows to your inner thighs, palms pressed to one another. And then just see what you can do about making this sustainable, but not passive. Now we're going to move from malasana into elephant pose. So I want you to go from low to high. So you're going to take your hips up. You're going to take your hands to your thighs. It's going to be work. You're going to lift your upper body. Place the thumb tips to your forehead. Place the palms together. Inner elbows and forearms squeeze in close. Now hand sweep low to high, stand tall, reach up, and then fold forward, exhale. Grasp opposite forearms as you sway a little side to side. Just get a little bit more lengthening down the side body and a little release. And then just work the feet back in a little closer to one another. We're going to take the hands to the top of the mat again. Step all the way back into plank pose. Bring your feet out really broad on your mat. Place the left palm to the center. And as you turn to side plank, you always have the option to drop that left knee down or keep the feet at that stagger position or start to stack. Right foot on top of left. Now with the feet back a little in this stack, roll your chest open just a little bit higher tonight. Ecstatic Vashisthasana. You can bend the right knee, drive the right knee up high, foot away from the left leg. Come back to center. Offload the left hand. Move your way right into the other side. Don't talk yourself out of it. Right palm goes center. Feet are at a stagger, or you drop that right knee down, or you stack left foot on top of right. Good. Feel, if you are stacking the feet, how the chest rolls open. And then ecstatic Vashisthasana. Bend your left knee, drive it high to the sky. Yes, good. Foot can land behind you too, Christy. That's a great alternative. You didn't know you were taking it, but you did. Come back to center. Good. Connecting vinyasa or all the way back to downward facing dog. The child's pose to follow, or a kneeling seat if you prefer. So take that time to select the shape that is best for you tonight. Don't go too far down the rabbit hole of analyzing which one would be best for you tonight. There's no wrong answer. And if you do happen to be taking the kneeling seat option, feel free to give some nourishment to your neck, tilting ear to shoulder, taking a semicircle of chin to chest. Take a couple more breaths wherever you are at. Be right there. Be in that breath. And then take your time to get back to downward facing dog. Bend your right knee, pull the right heel up, and then send your right foot high. Press the left heel low. Take one more breath in. Step forward into warrior one foot pattern. All the way up. Take one more inhale with your hands lifted high, and then as you exhale, just bring your arms to shoulder height, reaching the fingertips way out in front of you. We're going to create a fist with our right hand. Pull that hand back as though you have a bow and arrow. You're going to reach a little farther forward through the left fingers. Then send the left hand back up high. Let go of that arrow. Right hand joins the left high above you. Take a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, sweep your hands back, let your heart come forward. We're gonna stack left hands and then place your right into it. Move your torso just a little bit more toward the inside of your right thigh, and then bow forward a little bit more. Now let go of your hands. Bring your hands all the way down low. Take a small step forward with your left foot, straighten the right leg, pyramid pose. Grab your block if you'd like to take it underneath your hands in front of your foot. Give yourself a little time and space to simply breathe, to think less about the specifics of the shape and more about the bhavna, the feeling state. Now your left hand is going to stay at the block or the floor. Right hand is going to come to hold your right hip. Draw the hip crease back. Start to rotate, twisting to the right, and then reach your right hand high above you. Now stay within that rotation. I want you to simply place the palm of your right hand to your sacrum behind you. And then release. Right hand comes all the way down the leg, back to the floor in front of you. Take a shift and a step. Left foot joins the right near the top of your mat. Slide your hands up to your thighs, come up incrementally, slowly to a stand. Let your hands rest right upon your legs. Close your eyes, broaden your chest, breathe deeply, fully, freely. And then relax the weight of your hands. Curl the fingers into fists, stretch them back out again. Take a few circles of your hands and wrists if you need to here. Take another giant breath in and out. And then go forward and up overhead. Inhale, dive your way forward as you breathe out. Take your half lift, breathe in. Exhale and anchor, hands to your mat. Step your feet back into plank pose, either pausing and moving to downward dog or moving through your connecting vinyasa. Bend your left knee, pull the heel up to the bum, send your left foot high to the sky. Breathe in and step forward with your breath out. Warrior one, inhale, reach high. As you exhale, bring your hands straight out in front of your shoulders, and then bow and arrow, you're gonna clench that left fist, pull it back, reach a little farther forward through the right. Now, as you reach forward through your right fingertips, I want you to bend your left knee to the degree that you can. Feel the stretch through your right calf. Good. Angle that bow up to the sky through the right hand, and then let that arrow fly. Left hand joins the right. Inhale there. Exhale, sweep your hands down, back, and behind you. Your right hand is going to rest at the sacrum, and then your left wrist is going to come into the grip of your right hand. Move a little bit farther to the right as you bow forward. Breathe. Try to equalize your body weight a little bit more between both feet. And then release. Hands come low, down to frame the front foot. Give a small step forward. Square the hips. Straighten your left leg. Pyramid pose. And then let something roll down and off your shoulders, if possible here. What have you been carrying around this past week, this past decade, this past day that you don't need to carry anymore? And then see if you could focus a little bit more on the feel. There's lots of time for specific alignment, but just for now, what is the feel? And then you take your time to move to your twist. The left hand just comes to the hip to stabilize so that you feel balanced, you feel stable. Then the left hand goes high to the sky. And then perhaps the left leg is talking to you quite loudly. You're breathing, and the palm of your left hand just comes to the sacrum to rest. Release. Give a small step, well, a bigger than small step forward for your feet to land at the top of your mat. And then just come up slow, any which way you'd like to get there. Just come up very, very slow. Rest your hands at your thighs, close your eyes, broaden your stance. Shift your body weight a bit from right to left. And then as you stand in that broader stance, we'll bring our hands up to interlace the fingers and place your hands to rest on top of your head. Hand hat. One of Ashton's favorite things is pointing out hats right now. So put your best hat on, your hand hat. Press your head up into it. Strengthen your legs, and with your next inhale, drift your hands up. Grow your hat, top hat now. Invisible top hat, and then unlace your hands. Reach out, come forward, breathe out. Soften into that stretch. And just take a gentle grip with your peace fingers around your big toes. Snuggle them right in to that intimate space between your first and second toe. Give a pull up on your toes, a press down of your toes onto your fingers, and bring your elbows out wide. And then release your toes, set your hips back, reach your hands out ahead of you. So a little bit of a hybrid between Malasana and elephant. So more work being done in our legs and low belly. Reach out. If this is a little much on your shoulders, you can actually put your hand hat back on and let your elbows point down toward the floor. Everyone's going to meet there eventually. Pull your hands in, place them onto your head, and then stand tall. Press your head up into your hands. Broaden your rib cage, breathe. Drift your hands up high overhead on an inhale, and then out wide as you exhale. Shake your shoulders out. Take just a couple more breaths, wiggle your toes. And then work your feet in close together. We're gonna do a little bit of work with our crow pose tonight. So I wanna give you the option of having a perch for your feet. So for some people, this can make a big difference as far as being able to bring the hips up and around the outside of the shoulders. So I'm going to demonstrate that tonight. Take it or leave it as you'd like. But if you are using that perch, you're going to put the front half of your feet onto the block. You're going to take yourself down. I prefer to put my hands onto the hardwood floor. Broaden out, climb those legs up just as high as you can get them, and then squeeze in, tilt forward, Tippy toe the toes off the block. Check that out. Just a little play. Great alternative to do Malasana once again for a good stretch of the hips. Nice. Knees go out real wide. You're looking for that shelf of the outer upper arm. So hug in, not resting the knees onto the tricep, but hugging right around them. Yes, good. Pull in and up to the low belly. Breathe. Don't look backward. Look forward, my friend. Look forward. Yes, that's it. Breathe. Good. Nicely done. If you're craving one more connecting vinyasa, you can kind of step back into downward dog or jump back. Take a little flow, land in downward dog. We're actually going to meet in a position on our back. So take your time to move through that, and then you'll come to that space just resting onto your back, almost like you're doing crow pose, but in the most luxurious fashion that you possibly can. The knees will be out wide. Your feet will be somewhat close to one another. And then take a little abdominal crunch once you do get there so that you can see your big toes. You're going to reach up, you're going to place your peace fingers around your big toes. And then you're just going to lift your feet up, soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling. Then let your upper body rest to the ground. Happy baby. Now, let your body rock a little bit to the left and straighten your left leg. Breathe. Breathe into your left knee. Rock a little to the right and straighten your right leg, like you're pointing in the direction that you're rolling a little bit. If that felt really good, or you feel like you benefited from it and it didn't feel quite so good, but you know that you benefited from it, do it one more time in each direction. And then release your legs, bring the soles of your feet onto your mat, knees bent, bridge pose, nice and slow to follow that for a decompression of the hips. So nothing tells you that you have to take your hips up really high and create compression in your low back. What we're looking for is a lengthening of the front line of the body. All right, bring your hips back down. If this is something that is unfamiliar to you, you may want to take a look first if you've never done this with me before. We're going to move into an opening for our shoulder in a very slow, cautious way. You exit anytime you might feel like you need to, but you're going to keep your knees bent, keep the feet on the ground. You're going to roll a little to the right, and you're going to take your left arm under. The palm of your left hand is facing down onto the floor. You're going to hold a strong awareness, only take it to a place where you can palm the floor very well. Eventually, you might work that hand up to the space between your shoulder blades. Then you roll back so that you're resting as much of your body weight as you feel comfortable onto your hand. Then you can change the angle, the line of stretch just a little with a gentle windshield wipering of your knees. But again, if anything feels even the slightest bit icky, please abort. Please exit the shape. And just take notice of how this side feels. Take a deep breath or two. How does that change things for you? Not good or bad or better or worse, just different. Then you're gonna roll a little to the right, pick up your left arm, send it out, 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 and away from your body. Just let your left arm lay out to a T with the palm of your hand facing upward. And then just lift the hand, give it a little wiggle, move into your other side as you're ready. So you're just rolling a little to the left, you're taking that right hand and tucking it in behind you. So before you roll your body weight, you're seeing how far up the back you could go, but then you're moving into it really slow. Again, chances are this side, for most of us, is going to be very different. Probably a little bit more restrictive. So we enter into it with curiosity, compassion, patience, breath, little windshield wiper of your knees to find just the right angle and perhaps a stay. And some deep breaths. And then you roll just a little bit more to the left, untuck your right arm, stretch it straight out to a T, let it lay there. Palm of the hand facing up. You can even let your mouth kind of fall open, like you're in the deepest, greatest sleep. Then wiggle your fingers, lift your hands. Take a few stretches here on your back. We do have one more shape to make before Shavasana, and we'll do that from a seat. So when you are ready, we're going to make use of all of our props one more time in Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So for a lot of us, we may feel like this is tolerable, this is manageable, just sitting right on the ground, but I want you to try this in a supported position tonight, even if it's something that you can pretty easily come into. You're going to sit on the bolster. The blanket's going to be there for your knees to be on. And then the block will be there as well in case when you go in for this position, your knees are really far apart and you might need a little support, or if the knees are very high, you may need more than just that blanket there. So I'm showing it with all the props, but obviously you can do this with very few props as well. So we're looking to stack the knees, does not matter which one you choose to be on top first, and then just working to eventually bring the feet to a somewhat parallel position, but mostly it's the feeling state tonight. So I want you to close your eyes, see how this feels. And then I want you to ask yourself, do you feel like you're going to fall forward? Because your body, it has a flexibility that creates a seat that this is not sustainable to be lifted up. And if so, I want you to actually bring your hands back behind you to the floor on either side of that bolster. If you feel perfectly fine just sitting upright, that's where you should stay. And then gradually walk your hands forward. Let your hands rest at the bolster. Kind of curve the hands around the edge of the bolster. And in this particular shape, whichever leg is on bottom, we're going to place that arm at the bottom as well. So we're all on different sides, but whichever leg is on bottom, and you may have to kind of visually check because they're all tangled up and can play games with us. You're going to move the arms into your cow face shape. Now, you do not need to hook fingers. You can simply rest the palm of your top hand to the upper back, the back of the bottom hand. Lift your chin ever so slightly. Breathe. And then release the bind of your arms. Take a few nourishing movements of your shoulders, a little shimmy. And then we'll add to this the most gentle rotation. So whichever knee is on top, that's the direction you are rotating. So you're placing a hand to the knee, and you're just reaching the other hand back to the bolster behind you. And just as you did at the start of your practice, if you want to deepen this further, the hand wraps to the farthest edge. And then bring it on back. Depending on how funky you feel, you can follow me with a little dance to switch sides, or you can simply switch sides. You're going to do the dance. You lift, you walk, you don't move your feet, you don't move your feet, you don't move your feet, you just pivot on them, and then you land, and you're on the other side. You got tangled up somewhere along the way. You sit down, you switch sides, and life goes on now, doesn't it? Sit tall, breathe. Give yourself the support that you need wherever you need it. But I ask that if you are of that tribe that is very, very flexible and you feel like you're kind of falling forward in this shape, I want you to work your way back. Hands come back to the edge of your bolster. I am definitely not in that flexible group, but if you are, please take a moment to do that. Gradually work the hands up to cup them under the edges of the bolster. To lengthen up through your spine. Then to add your arms to the equation, knowing all too well that most of us, when that right arm is on bottom, we feel a little more restriction. Unless you're one of those left-handed folks, you know. Weirdos. Breathe. Release your arms. Oh, stretch it out, lengthen, and then just start to rotate. So whichever leg is on top, you're turning in that direction. Opposite hand rests to the knee, other hand grabs to the bolster. You even have a handy little handle back there if that helps. Breath in through the nose, perhaps out through the mouth. And then back to center. All right, let's get off of these, back to your back. If that first position felt absolutely awesome to take Shavasana in, please set it up once again. Otherwise, you might consider taking the bolster to the back of the calves or the knees. I like to really scoot back and get the feet up, kind of elevated. But just stretch yourself out into your final place of rest. Gradually bringing your awareness from the peripheral in. So turning your attention to the sounds that you hear out on the street. And taking a couple of deep breaths. The sound that you hear perhaps above you. And then the feel of the air around you. The sound of your inhale and your exhale. And perhaps give it a little bit more sound. The sensation of your hands, your feet, as you begin to reawaken, enliven your body, a little movement, and then simply bring the right knee in toward your chest for a little hug. Take a deep belly breath, feeling the expanse of your abdomen against the thigh. And then switch sides. Take your right leg back out long and the left knee in. And then drawing both knees in, rolling to one side or the other. No rules or regulations this evening in which direction you go. Gradually make your way up to a comfortable seat for you, whether that's cross-legged or kneeling. And then taking the first two fingers of your right hand and just placing them at the base of your throat, the very top of your breastbone. Take a couple of deep breaths and just feel that space change with inhale and exhale. Might be subtle, might be dramatic. Taking the first two fingers of your left hand to the very center of your forehead. Take a couple more deep breaths. Breathing out through the nose or the mouth, your preference. Just feel the brush of your exhale come to the palm of your hand, the wrist of your left. And then bring the hands together. In Anjali Mudra. Take an inhale as you raise the base of your thumbs to your forehead, and an exhale as you bow, honoring this practice that we share together this time. Thank you so very much for being here and trusting me as your teacher. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your Friday and a good weekend. Got you split right down the middle there. Great to see you all. Thanks for joining online. See you soon.